John Paul Moran here from Go USA, coming at you from CPAC 2023 with the great, awesome, incredible Mr. Give, Send, Go, Jacob Wells.
John, it's great to be here. I'm glad we caught up, and because I know we're only half an hour from each other. You know, we're not far away, but it's great to be here. Great to be able to see so many patriotic Americans coming together to network and continue to grow their businesses and change the world. So, yeah.
Yes, it really is refreshing to see. I mean, it's been 3 years since this hotel has been used for CPAC,
right,
because of the pandemic. The pandemic.
The pandemic. That's for sure. Every single day we see more and more
of how planned it was.
And how planned it was. How crazy our government was in everything that they did. Yeah.
And covering for communist China. Now they're admitting it came from a lab when everyone was called a conspiracy theorist. I ran for Congress. I was saying it came from the lab. The masks don't work. You can't be forced to get shots. It hurts younger people that don't need it. And everything I said, I'm waiting for the apologies, because they called me every name in the book. I'm a bigot. I'm a racist. I'm this. I'm that. I'm a conspiracy theorist. And so what about? And I'm sure you said the same thing. Where's the apologies from these people?
You know what? I think that's a great idea. Let's get the apology tour going from the Democratic Party. It needs to be put in action, because they misrepresented the amount of misinformation that has come out from the left around all of COVID has been astounding. I wouldn't even just say COVID. The constant narrative is just twisted. It's skewed. The facts are skewed constantly, and people need to wake up to that reality. They need to, and I'm not going to be ignorant and say that the right doesn't have some element of that themselves. The reality is we're humans. We don't know everything. This is why we need God, like a dependency in something other than ourselves for a foundation. But
agreed.
Yeah, it is the fundamental problem that's at stake in our society, is the idea of, is there a God versus I'm God? And we have everything in society, or large portions of society, that are just saying, you are God. You can be anything and everything that you want. You can be whatever, gender, sex, whatever you want. Like, we control. It's everything revolves around man. And when you live, when you live under that, you have no foundation to actually have a successful life and actually flourish. And God is the foundation for everything good. He's the foundation for our existence, the value that we have as humans, everything. And that's what Give, Send, Go is all about, is sharing that hope with people. As we give them a platform to fundraise, we get to share hope with them, that there's something bigger than your circumstances.
That's right.
Yeah. You may find yourself in a difficult place, like many of the January 6th defendants have found themselves in a difficult situation. And right or wrong, people should be afforded a legal defense in the United States.
That's right. I mean, it's due process. You have the right to self-defense, but right now that's been thrown out the window with the J6ers. You know, they don't have a right to self-defense. But the left can conspire with communist China and cover them up when they killed millions of Americans with their virus that they covered up and built in a lab. But that's okay. I guess that's okay, right? That's okay to kill over 1 million Americans and lie about it, but it's not okay. Like, does that make any sense to you? That it just seems beyond.
Yeah.
And I think most Americans, vast majority of Americans, would agree with us.
Right.
We're not on the fringe when we say things like that.
Well, it's what pride does. Pride puts you in a position where you can't be wrong. It's like, I am right. I am right in what I believe, and I refuse to back down from my stances. Anybody with half of a brain, this is my opinion, but anyone with half of a brain should recognize their own fallibility, just because you look at yourself.
That's right.
I look at myself every single day. I see how I fail with my kids. I see how I fail with my wife. And I'm not saying like horrific stuff, maybe, but I don't do it to the best. I misprioritize my time. I attempt to do things and then I don't follow through. Whatever those things are, those are failings, and it just points to our inability, the element of humanity that isn't perfect. And so when we recognize it about ourselves, we can then have grace for other people. But if we are so full of pride, then we come to a place where I can't be wrong, I'm my own God, I understand everything, I can't dialogue with people that disagree with me because I'm not right, I'm not wrong about it. And it's like such a prideful position, and I'm so glad that I have that foundation that I know that I'm not perfect, so I can engage with everybody in any point of view. I don't mind doing it because you need Jesus just as much as I do, and we're going to kind of like, we might butt heads on an idea, and that's fine. I'll walk away still valuing you as a human being, and and that's how we ought to. These are the foundational aspects, as Thomas Jefferson said, that are which I think you're a distant relative of.
Nephew. Favorite nephew.
Favorite nephew.
Sixth
right.
generation favorite nephew.
That's right. He said, our Constitution is only built for a moral and religious people. Like that, you have to have that underpinning, otherwise, it all falls apart.
Well, they're scamming right now. That's the reason why the system was built beautifully, but not just on the left, but tyrannical forces on both sides are and have infested it and rigged it and are working against us as tyrants. At this point, we really don't have freedom and liberty. I mean, my God, even Canada's worse, as you know. But America is not far behind with how tyrannical it is. So, I mean, our mission at Go USA is exposing all these people, making it easy for a consumer, a voter, just to be like, wow, like quick and easy all year long. And that's what we're doing. And I love what you're doing. You're giving people the ability to support with their dollars cause they care about. We're all over the place. The left controls the other evil enterprises that ban you if you want to support someone that's just defending their constitutional liberties.
Right. Well, I as much as we do see that, and we have been seeing that, I am so excited about the possibilities that are there with business things like Go USA and Give, Send, Go, and businesses that are really stepping into, not even just businesses. I mean, you look in Asbury, the college just this past week, the revival that broke out. People are being stirred to a new awakening of the concept of who God is, what he wants to do, the value of human beings, the value of freedom, all of those different things. I actually see, man, we live at such an incredible moment in history where we're on the cusp of some huge shift, and we've seen a decade of this crush from the left, and I think that the pendulum is in the process of swinging back, and we're going to see this new awakening. People, not wokeism, awakening to the realities of our foundation, the realities of truth, and value, human dignity, all of those different things.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think things are swinging back. In my opinion, I think, well, according to the scoring system, 80% of us agree on the basic principles on average, 7, 8, 9 out of 10. It's more of the power control structure. The tyrants are in charge. That's why they're obsessed with the media, obsessed with elections, because they're not going to get the popular support. So I believe we need to break that stranglehold that the tyranny, the Pfizer's, the big corporations, right?
Yeah.
The globalists, all of them more, because there's a small number of them against a huge number of us, and that's what's freaking them out. So let's find tools like what you have and tools like what we have that could be the loud voice of the real people pushing back and saying enough is enough.
Populist movement, you're right.
The populist movement has to gain ground and defeat them, because they do have the power and the technology and the financial means. But they can't do anything with 80-90% of the people saying screw you.
Right.
They don't have the ability to control that. There's no way. They need consumers to buy their stuff. They can't do that. So I'm hoping that between what you're doing, what we're doing, and other groups that are here, let's unite and make it happen and work together. And make it more of a free, not just a free country, but if we lose freedom around the world, we can't be an island here. We have to fight for freedom on every front.
Yeah, it's so cool. I saw Jordan Peterson, who actually just set up a campaign on Give, Send, Go a week or so ago. But he was on Rogan probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he mentioned how he's in the process of creating an alternative to the World Economic Forum. That you've got this.
Yes, brilliant.
Yes, and it's a brilliant idea of bringing like-minded people together to combat this globalist agenda that's destroying lives. It's killing people. They're crazy policies that are just destroying farming, destroying
all
energy,
over.
Doing horrific things. And he's bringing together. I think it's coming up. It's going to be in England and London, a new economic forum where 2,000 leaders from around the globe are coming together. So I look at things like that and I say, man, this is fantastic to see that there's some unity coming together.
Beautiful.
There's some leaders that are emerging and that are championing these ideas and actually bringing some sense back to the marketplace.
Good. I love to hear that, and I want to talk more about that because the Universal Bill of Rights we wrote, that we worked on, that's inspired by Thomas Jefferson, covers all that: economic freedom and privacy rights and health freedom and all of that. It's in there, and we got hundreds of people, including I believe yourself, have read it and seen it. So we want to use that as a platform. That would be a perfect fit for what we're trying to do. We want to take this to the UN, and even though the UN is corrupt, we still want to go there and say this is real human rights.
Right.
Actual, your people are alive from conception. It's a scientific fact.
Yeah.
It's not a human right to kill kids. Sorry, UN. No, it's not.
Right.
And I'm sure you agree. I know we agree on that.
Right. No, I agree completely, and I do think that there's definitely some opportunity and some momentum movement in that direction, and I'm sure that, as anything, I say this all the time to our team and to my family and to my kids, everybody I know. I said, anything that's worth anything's going to cost something. It's going to require time. It's going to require energy. It's going to require sacrifice. And so initiatives like that, just like Give, Send, Go and Go USA, they have all required things from us. They've called us to deeper sacrifice. We've grown and learned from them because that's what sacrifice does. It challenges us. It makes us better people. So I think that what we're going to see is that there's momentum gathering here that's going to open the doors for greater opportunity with like this Declaration of Independence, this like human rights idea of in presenting it. Let's gaining some momentum around it. It's going to take time, and it's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take energy, and I think people are becoming awake to that reality that the best things in life are the ones that you actually have to pay for.
That's right.
It's like you have to sow into.
The freedom that you don't fight for is not appreciated, right?
Exactly.
So that's what we'll do, and I would love. Well, I know you're very busy with all the things you're doing. I would love your involvement in some level, what we're doing with the outreach, uniting all these different organizations. We'd love Give, Send, Go to be part of our new federation, and I'd love to see if we can get this message out to some of these countries that you work around the world to say, here is this Bill of Human Rights, that the actual real human rights, not the garbage you're getting from the globalists in the UN or the current administration. Right? So I'd love I'd love to see if you want to get involved in that and join the fight, because you have so many great connections, but I know you're busy, so whatever we can make happen.
And you understand this like anybody, there's always a tension between the priorities that pull at us.
That's right.
And like you said, busy kids and foster children and all the things that are the complexities of life, we're balancing. It's doing great. So,
all right. Well, I appreciate that, and we will. I appreciate. Will you endorse the op score?
Of course.
Of course.
Yes.
We endorse Give, Send, Go 100%. All right. So much more to come. Thank you, Jacob Wells. Make sure you go to Give, Send, Go. No one else.